using. All right, we're officially live. Awesome. And of course, there's a huge ding on my computer as soon as that happens. All right, we are live with two of incredible ladies from the one and only Heroine Berg, a Pittsburgh-based superheroine show. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Shall I say my real name and then my superhero name?
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay. My name is Bridget Yeager, and I play Arctica, Mistress of the Deep Freeze.
Everybody, my name's Alicia, and I play Scintilla, the once demure, sweet accountant who just had to change everything.
So one of you is a hero, and one of you is a villain. I think the chat can probably figure out who is whom based on color scheme and that wonderful presentation.
Oh yeah, because we would have the blue here.
Nice, white in the dark and white in the black, you know. Let's say hi. We got some people popping in the chat here. Hello, we got Geeks and Gamers saying support Jesse. Thank you, Geeks and Gamers. D-Money Show, hi Desi. Someone says, what the? Apparently I've been reading the descriptions that I've been posting about this. So we've got two women from Heroine Berg. I'm wearing the t-shirt right now. Heroine Berg is an awesome independently produced web series in Pittsburgh following superheroines and super villainesses. So we are talking to Arctica and Scintilla, alternately Bridget and Alicia. And any questions, if you guys haven't seen the show, if you have seen the show, awesome. Questions away. If you haven't, questions also. We're just going to chat a little bit while you guys are getting here, get to know each other a little bit, stuff like that. So you guys both, are you guys both born and raised in Pittsburgh?
Not born and raised. I've been born and raised very close to Pittsburgh. You're actually having this conversation where I always consider myself a naturalized citizen of the Steel City. I've been down here for like over a decade now, but it's a great city. Awesome city. It's fun. Yeah. Were you?
I actually was born in Pittsburgh, but then my family moved when I was 5. We moved out to the suburbs of Beaver County where I live now, but it's only about like half hour, 40 minutes away from Pittsburgh. So I'm there quite a lot actually. So yes.
All right. So Pittsburgh area. Fun fact about me, actually, I lived in Pittsburgh from the time I was about a few months old to about 2 years old. So yeah.
Part of what makes the city so interesting is like we have like a heavy like import-export system. I think a lot of people come through here, like one way or the other, we get you.
It's very true. It's very true. It has a lot of great things about it. It definitely is a city with a lot of personality. I certainly clashed sometimes with the city of Pittsburgh over sports because I'm a Philadelphian. So I love it. Oh yeah. I should get my Eagles paraphernalia up here. If I just tilt up a little bit.
Still wearing black and yellow, like Heroineburg today. You are with us.
I am. I'm wearing Steelers colors. I can't help it. Can't help it. Well, look, I'm the one laughing because you guys don't know what's going on with your football team right now.
So we can have neutral ground then if you're still wearing black and yellow.
The hero, the peacemaker.
There you go. That's my the hero. All right, we've got our first super chat of the night from Mark C. Says, to the two ladies, how yens doing? So cheers.
Perfect Pittsburghese.
Mm-hmm. Someone either has been or knows, and we got another super chat right on the heels of that.
Super.
These chats are extra super tonight because we have super people here, so it's excellent. We have Darren Fulton says, God Empress rules and Twitter drools. Couldn't agree more. So I would consider myself personally more of an anti-hero, but my title is the God Empress, so that's kind of where I land on that spectrum. But yeah, so if you let's get a little background. Let's get a little let's start with Arctica. Where does your character first come into the show, and what's her backstory?
Okay, so her alter ego is she is Greta Bjornsdottir, a cryogenic physicist from Iceland. Her character gets introduced in episode 6 of the show. I was not playing at the character at the time. I came in a bit later, but in episode 6, she's working with her her partner, who later becomes the superhero Spectrina, and they're working together in a lab. And of course, something goes wrong. The villainous dysphoria actually comes into play. Morphia. The villainous Morphia comes into play, and then so when that happens, Spectrina and Arctica get their powers, and then they both start fighting crime from there on out.
Hooray. Hooray for crime. We got a couple more super chats. We've got one from Shanta Bianco. Just a $1 one from
Shante.
Yes.
And the Rookie Critic says the God Empress meets the Superheroines. Indeed. Thank you, Rookie Critic, for your super chat. Rookie Critic is also a mod on the channel, so we got some wonderful mods. We got Rookie Critics here, Caitlin Keeper, the Jeremys, Flaming TP. They're going to be keeping an eye on the chat, make sure everything is copacetic over there. All right, so it's Scintilla. You give us a little bit. You want to elaborate on your backstory a bit?
Oh, I suppose I can do that. You need to know. But yeah, so Scintilla, I came around, my first episode is in season 2, so I'm brand new to the series, which is so fun. What happened was, I was an accountant. My name is Cynthia, and I was a sweetheart, but I mean, I was bored all day. I mean, it was just a number crunching, and I was really pretty tired of it. This one day, though, I was walking. We do this in character, apparently. But so Cynthia was out walking, and she catches this glowing piece of rock, and it happens to be this like broken fragment of meteorite. And she takes it home and thinks, you know, crystals heal. This is nice. You know, she just thinks it's real cute. And she goes to bed that night, wakes up the next day, and boom, you know, this entirely new situation is upon her. And she finds out that she's got all these powers. And she realizes then with all these powers that she has, which is Scintilla can see just a little bit into the future. She is super strong. She's already really smart and very calculating. And accountant humor. Sorry, I'm really annoying.
No.
Sorry, my chat will adore it. They all love to torture me with puns because I hate them.
I love to be tortured. No, sorry. Wait, what? Sorry. So yeah, I picked up with a bunch of powers and realized that I'm tired with living my boring cube life, and I need to be more exciting because I am more exciting, and I try a life of crime. And on my very first day out, I run into this one right here.
Well, if somebody wasn't trying to steal friends,
ruin my good time. Just trying to get some jewelry. I mean, come on.
So I did notice that in the introduction to Miss Cynthia that we have her inspiration for evil doing. Who is her inspiration?
Well, my inspiration would be Miss Selena Kyle.
Selena Kyle, the one and only Catwoman.
You know, she's a personal favorite on every single level.
Yeah,
every single variety.
She's the BA. So I see that the costume is almost kind of recalls that a little bit. The tight black leather.
Right, isn't it? It's a nice little nod in that direction. Like you got like that pinch of Julie Newmar in there. He's still like some of that Eartha Kitt kind of flavor with a little bit of like the coquettish kind of behind it all. It's a lot of fun to play something like this.
I would love to play a villain personally. Oh my god! Somebody in the chat. This question is for Bridget. Do you say ice to meet you?
No, but I brought this up on this recent podcast interview we did. Whenever I do film Arctica, between takes, at least once I have to say, "Time to chill out."
Of course, you have to. It's
I mean, I love his performance in that movie. I don't care that it's not that great. It's fun. It's a fun, dumb, campy superhero movie.
He's the only reason for that movie, in my personal opinion. So I got a couple people popping in, being like, "What's happening?" So if you're not up to date, we are streaming live with two of the cast members of Heroine Berg, the Pittsburgh-based superheroine TV show. We've got superheroine Arctica and super villainous Scintilla right here joining us, and we're just getting into. We're just diving in to the fun.
Yes, be intimidated.
Yes, be very intimidated. Very intimidated.
They are honestly, and I'm the representational anti-hero. I'm fall somewhere in between. I end up on the side of good more often than not, but my methods are occasionally questionable.
So is that like what? So chaotic good? We were playing that. Yeah.
Chaotic good, sometimes chaotic neutral. I'm not always. I try for good sometimes, but I don't always.
But chaotic neutral, you're never having to say you're sorry.
There you go. But you have a couple of those on the show as well. I mean, Regina comes to mind for sure, and she certainly had a big role in episode 14. Is that the most recent episode that's aired at this point? 14.
Yes, it is out now and it is available for public consumption. I can speak on the Heroine Berg website.
And that's
which is www.heroineburg.com.
That's www.heroineburg.com. Caitlin Keeper the Jeremys is on top of it. She's already posted that link in the chat. So guys, go ahead, definitely check it out. Heroineburg.com. There's also Johnny Doyas says late payment for bad pun recognition. He was the Ice to Meet You guy. Thank you. I appreciate your tribute. I need it to be able to recover from that pun. But yes, so that's actually it came up in the link already. So there is, in addition to the show, there's now a comic coming out.
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited for that in particular because Arctica is actually going to be in the comics. So I'm really excited, and I've seen the rough draft artwork, and Arctica's on the front. And when I saw it, like the director sent me the picture on my phone, I was just like,
yeah, no, it's pretty great. I got some of that up here. We'll take a look at that in just a second. We got another super chat from Flaming TP. Thank you so much. Sends $10 for Arctica's belts and Jesse's rent and for D&D alignments. We'll drink to that.
Yeah.
All right, Enclave Soldier wants us to know that he is here. Hello. This is a person in the chat who wants attention. So let me grab a couple of these. Some really fun bits of artwork here. I'm going to screen share for just a second. So let's see. Screen share and share my entire screen. Why can't I? Yes, share. All the weirdness. Now this becomes screenception because you start seeing screens.
Technology.
It's exciting.
oh gosh, this is like in Spaceballs. Oh yes.
So what I got up here right now is we've got Arctica, the pinup. This is stuff out for the comic. We've got some in progress Ex Machina messing somebody up. She's the Asian superheroine on the team, and she is good at making machines work. We got a couple of those. There she is again, messing up what appears to be some sort of dragon type creature. So that's exciting. That's the nice thing about comics is they don't adhere to the same budget. So, and now we've got this is Ex Machina, and it looks like she's getting a little flirty with someone here. Is that Arctica?
Yeah.
That would be.
Well, it seems like, I mean, given what I've seen from episode 14, it seems like you are definitely the one flirting with the ladies.
And it's funny too, considering how Arctica starts out in the show. She starts out as being very kind of like, not like a wholly uncaring person, but just kind of very cold, kind of reserved person, just very involved in her cryogenic physicist work. However they actually go about doing that, I don't know, but Arctica does. But so she kind of starts off as being kind of frigid, and then as she starts to explore her superpowers and like, you know, really start to explore what it means to be a superhero, she starts to be a little bit like, you know what, I've been so just focused on my work for so long, I've kind of just shut things out and ignored some stuff. Like maybe I could start to, well, I'm using this is where I'm using warm up a little bit. So you know, as the colder she gets on the outside, the warmer she gets on the inside. And,
oh, what beautiful duality.
Yeah.
So in episode 14, I guess these are gonna be some episode spoilers, guys. You're gonna have to see them. So I'm actually looking for some information myself because I didn't see the original Arctica episode. I've missed a couple in the in-between. I watched the first one for context, but then jumped on towards the end a little bit when the production value increased just slightly. Not knocking the original production value, but it's been really exciting actually watching some of the earlier. It's been fun watching. Though the first one, I will say episode 1 has my favorite song probably of all time in it, which is like Knocking People Over. It's an excellent song.
Fantastic music taste, I'm just going to say.
That's actually one thing I love about the show is the music choices in the show are excellent. So I'll digress for a second and just say, from what I understand, is that outside of the the public use music, background music that's used, the show actually does feature a lot of local Pittsburgh bands.
Yes.
Which is a fantastic truth. Like Weird Paul, who does your very favorite song, he's a Pittsburgher. And let's see, like even like members of the cast, like you have the woman who plays Poderosa. She is her name's Christina Santavita. I'm sorry, I'm butchering her name, but Christina, she's a singer in a band called Shadow Event in town in Pittsburgh. It is a freaking killer band. Like they're killer. And and she also has a Blondie cover band that's sick. Yes, and she's got it down, you know. So it's like it's really fun, like just how much talent there really is that's involved in here. Like she's one. There's also like Julie Devine, who's in like a handful of bands. Like there's so much music involved in like the entire process, and it's like, and I'm also in a band. I'm in Venus and Furs, and so like you know, there's some talk. There's a lot of stuff to like be waiting for to come forward. It's really cool.
Awesome. I love seeing that. I mean, that's so key. I think for low budget productions is having just a pool of talent to pull from. I'm going to do this myself right now. I'm actually just getting ready to start my second channel. It's called LA Cheesesteak Reviews. It's the mission to find a cheesesteak in Los Angeles. It's probably impossible, but we're gonna try.
That's amazing. Is that the Philadelphian in you talking? Is that
100% the Philadelphia in me talking? 100. I've got a cast of Philly co-hosts. I've got and some just people that I know. You know, my boyfriend's an editor, so he's gonna do the editing. We're gonna rope my friend to be a camera person. One of my hosts is also a sound guy. So, and my little sister actually has a Philly band. She's in a band in Philadelphia, and we're gonna use her music in
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to see that. We'll be looking for that.
It'll be fun. And then at some point we can do a crossover. We can do Philly cheesesteak review. LA Cheesesteak Reviews comes to Pittsburgh and brings some superheroes on the show. That would be fun.
Oh, that would be seriously fun. We can have an eating competition.
That would be hilarious. Oh my god. I would be down for that. Down for that. Oh my god, we just got puns rolling in like crazy. Brian is here. Thank you for keeping our chat copacetic, kosher. We've got Sardonicus says when her sister gets pregnant, she becomes Aunt Arctica. It's terrible. You've got gorgeous ice blue eyes. There was another one earlier. I don't know if I might have missed some of them anyway. So there you go. There you go. We got the Arctica puns rolling in. I guess Scintilla is a little more non-specific with her powers and versus powers name relations, so it's a little hard.
You know, I'm the bad girl. People don't want to mess with me like that. It's fine.
I do.
It's fine.
I mean,
great episode.
Yeah, I know. My hand's still cold, but that's fine. It's fine.
Really? How's your hand?
I have a hair dryer. Okay, I'm just saying.
That's gonna cure a third-degree burn.
You know what? I'm going here. I have my hands. Thank God we have gloves. Okay, nobody needs to know the difference. Go check out the episode, then you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
You'll understand. These two characters get into a little bit of a showdown in episode 14. So if you want to see them have at it on screen, it's super fun. There was I'm going to get back to the stuff we started talking about earlier, but there was a part, my favorite part, I think, of that episode was actually a part with Regina when she's kidnapped and they're beating her up. And that's one thing I love about the show is it leans into that camp. So it's just this absurdly long scene of the three guys, one's choking her, one's gut punching her, one's smacking her in the face, and they just kind of go over and over. And the guy doing the smacks in the face cracks me up because he's just so disinterested, and it's just like this light little like psh. It's like it's respectful how light it is. So there's a great slap sound effect. It's just
those are those perfect moments. Those are those completely perfect moments that like capture that campiness, like that perfect spirit where it's like obviously no one's getting hurt here, you know, like we're having everybody's involved, we're all acting, it's all like removed from reality, and you can let loose and just enjoy what you're seeing and let it like sink in afterwards, you know, like all the cool stuff you're really seeing, because like you are seeing like, yeah, she took all that then, right? You know, like she's tough, you know, she took all of it, so like no matter what, she's still fucking badass. Oh, that's right, we can swear. Sorry,
yeah, swear all you want. Call her fucking badass. She is. Regina's such a badass in that episode because she's resisting this hardcore ass whooping, and she's just sitting there like, is that all you got? And that's one thing that I like to talk about sometimes in the difference between the way that people are trying to portray women in a lot of mainstream media now and the reality of what makes a strong woman is you look at Captain Marvel and when you see her, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but
this night actually.
The montage. Yeah. So we won't get too much into it, but the montage that shows how tough she is because she keeps getting back up, nobody knocks her down. She falls down on her own because she's trying something and she fails and she gets back up, which is certainly a fine empowerment message, but it's not really a female empowerment message. Now, when you have a character like Regina who's strapped to a chair and has three big dudes punching the crap out of her and she stands up to them flawlessly, that is a female empowerment message.
It's really just seriously.
So, mic drop on that. We got to the super.
No, really, like that was. But I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, you're completely right about that, and that is one of the things that's also like really cool about this because we can take a lot of flack because we're wearing like bodysuits and everything and like being over sexualized and everything. But at the same time, though, like we do get to like build our characters. You know, we do have a lot of control. Just like even on the other side of the lens, we end up with a lot of control where we do get to bring our ideas to the director and be heard. And then on top of that, like whenever we're actually in the moment, like we're able to, you know, we're let loose to a point where, you know, we can discover things in the moment and continue to build off of that and continue to really actually, I don't know, make art happen. And like that in and of itself is so empowering. Like the actual process is full on, like we're all here. It is very empowering to be a part of something like this and like get those power stances on. Yeah. I really feel like you can own it. Like but you know, you do feel better like the second you do this.
Yeah, I do power stances a lot. And there's something too to like you know, putting a costume on. It really does just change how you feel instantly. Like you know, you read over like the lines and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm totally into this. But then when you when you zip up these knee-high boots over here, it's totally like it just changes things.
So wait,
yeah,
what
is that? As a weapon, it's like you just really
dude in the face.
You really feel like a superhero at that point, and I mean it's I mean sure, like these are like very sexualized costumes, but also it's fun to wear them sometimes. There's something wrong with it.
And there is, I mean let's also be honest. There is a lot of power in sex. There's just a lot of power in sex, and like owning that and knowing that there just is. There just is. I mean, it's no matter what. It's like this entire action that is creating life. That's really powerful. At its very bare bones, that is what it is. So whenever like you can be in ownership of the creation of life and you're part of it, part in that, like, I don't know, it just transcends to a whole other level where you can, I mean, I could just be doing this in absolutely nothing. I could still feel just as powerful. But, I mean, World fears a naked woman, though. That's a whole. I'm sorry. I'm getting off.
That's excellent.
Sorry.
That's your mic drop moments. No, that's totally true. We got some love for strong.
Get some ice on.
Got a lot of love in the comments. We got Ginger Viking Jesus saying strong women are hot, and a lot of agreement there. And I couldn't agree more with what you guys are saying, that part of being a strong woman is not denying your sex, is owning it. We are beautiful creatures. People want to look at us. People want to fuck us sometimes. And that's awesome. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's human nature. And that doesn't make us any less powerful. So, amen. Cheers. And we have a super chat also from Darren Fulton that says, God Empress hair flip, please. All right. I will oblige the flippy hair. Does that make you happy?
That was majestic. Right. Beautiful.
Yes.
All right, your turn. Hair flip, your turns.
My hair is very short now.
Oh, we do so much.
Mine's even shorter and it flips all over the place. That's like half the people actually watch my channel. So that's, reality. Oh, all right. Well, someone's happy. Now people are happy now that there are hair flips. There are hair flips all across the board. So one of the things I do want to get to is we had an emailed in question from someone awesome from Random 321, who is the creator of Project Superman, which is also, Project Superwoman. My bad. That's my internalized misogyny coming out, guys. So Project Superwoman was a long-range G-rated superhero series, which, among other things, brought the DeviantArt Mindy Marvel character to life on screen. He produced the 2 films starring popular Phoenix cosplayer AZ Power Girl, who is Kara Nicole Trujillo. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I tried. Trujillo. It's TRUGJILLO. So an H sound and the Y sound. So Trujillo, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. Not important. The point is this person is actually a big influence on the creation of Heroine Berg, apparently, so I'm told. And so this is a question we can all answer this one. Arctica might have the deepest insight on this one. Which is, if you were a hero, what would be the most interesting motivation you can think of that a villain might have that you would face off against? So if you can pick a villain to face off, what is the most interesting motivation you could think of for a villain that you would face off against?
Most interesting. I also am an improv person, so this just made me like, if they just wanted to steal so much stuff. like I don't know, if I just had like something that was like some dumb little thing that was really important to me, and if the villain just for whatever reason just to get under my skin decided to take it, and we just spent like a whole day just kind of a cat and mouse thing going back and forth. I don't know. I've never seen that, and I think that would be kind of funny. It's like I forget all my dastardly terrible plans. I just want to annoy you today because of all the times that you beat me up and stuff.
Nice. That's fun. I like that. Very personal. Like very personal.
Yeah.
I dig it. All right. How about you, Scintilla? If you were facing off, what would be the most interesting motivation for a villain that you had to square up against?
So if I'm the good guy and I'm facing off a villain.
Sure. The other way around. Maybe what would be a weird motivation for a hero to want to vanquish you?
Let's see here. I would have to say a vengeful pageant queen. You want to talk about some tenacity? I want a vengeful pageant queen. Either side. She can be good, she can be bad. I'll be whatever. If she's coming for me, I'm just gunning for my life. That's talking about like those pageant queens. It's a beautiful life. They're all about that world peace because they have to be.
That's a war zone. Anyone who's made it to become a pageant queen has a body count in their past.
For real though, yeah, it's the reality of the situation. Yeah. I'm actually. What's funny is that I am a showgirl. Like in my I do burlesque and I am a go-go dancer at a nightclub in Pittsburgh. called Cabo and also at Cake. Anybody who's around, definitely check it out because it is so fun. It is so fun. But like, you know, the like, you know, the life of showgirls, like that movie Showgirls, it's not that far off. I mean, it's really not. It's really not. I mean, it takes as little as just like one misplaced eyelash, you know, and then like blood pressure forever, like feuds. It's crazy.
Wow.
Sorry, it's so fun.
I'm now imagining like a super villainous pageant queen, which is like, and it's like, and this is how I will achieve world peace by dominating it.
That was amazing. That was like a moment on my channel where everything's just going fine, and all of a sudden I'm screaming my head off. It's beautiful.
Have like, I don't know, like a sash whip or something like that. That's like, it says,
yeah.
This is like Miss Badass on it or something.
Not to mention, like your tiara needs to also work as a weapon.
Like an evil Sailor Moon, like
yes. Scepter that you beat everybody with. It's amazing. It's already
I dig it.
rose circles that grow out of them like tentacles.
So we had
spin off.
Random 321 had another question, which was, what has been one thing that has been more difficult than you expected about bringing a superhero or conversely supervillainess to life?
What has been the most difficult?
More difficult than expected. An unexpected challenge of bringing these characters to life.
Camel toe? For real. Like, I'm just saying, like, realistically speaking, the camel toe. Just like act natural. You know? Like challenge. Well, you rise to meet it every time.
It's a legitimate challenge. It's a legitimate challenge.
You know, I gotta really get into the character. But I'm sorry if that's not satisfying.
No, it's interesting. I guess for me, I would say because, well, like I said, there was a different actress for the first episode that Artica introduced, episode 6, and then that actress left, and then I eventually replaced her. And I think what was a little challenging for me was coming into it, and I wondered to myself, like, you know, should I mean, I have like the script and I have her backstory and everything, but I thought, you know, like, you know, I actually made a conscious I know what happens in episode 6, but I actually made a conscious decision not to watch it. I still haven't watched it. I will eventually because I want to see the other characters, but I made a conscious decision not to watch that episode specifically because I didn't want to just do what she was doing, or because I was a battle a little bit because I was like, should I watch what she did? Should I like take it to, and then I thought after all, I was like, you know what? No, this is my character now. As long as whatever I'm doing just stays true to the character, and people still see Arctica when they see me, then that will be what works. So
that's such a smart decision. Really smart decision.
Yeah, because well, for instance, like say when you go like on auditions and you are trying to pick a monologue, sometimes there's monologues from say like famous movies and stuff, and I can't take a monologue from a movie I've already seen because I know that unconsciously I'll just start imitating the person who already did it. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to do that. I just want to be me as Arctica.
Nice. Someone in the chat says, I actually think Camel Toe would be a great villain name with her sidekick Moose Knuckle.
Oh my god.
You're hired.
We have a super chat from Ginger Viking Jesus. There was a question for you guys. Another good question, kind of dovetailing on these superhero villainous motivation question train of thought. English, my first language. Who would have thunk it? And he says, what would it take to convince the two of you to change your alignments, hero to villain and vice versa?
Ooh. Alrighty, Ginger Jesus, is that his name?
Ginger Viking Jesus.
Ginger Viking Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Are you single? Sorry.
Really, it's a spawn of double bed.
Sorry. So, let's see. To become good. I don't know, probably a cute boy. I'm pretty easy.
That was totally my answer.
My just the right way and I'll come on over.
You know, I would say for Arctica, it would probably be because she is, like, say, stepping away from her work a little bit and warming up and exploring more areas of herself. But she is still she still hasn't gone away from being kind of like an analytical, like, you know, super scientific, like super into her work person. I think if somebody gave her the opportunity to really make a lot of headway or make a whole lot of groundbreaking research, and that person was a villain, I think she actually would strongly consider that, to be honest.
So if someone put the kind of Machiavellian, if they're maybe not doing the greatest things, but ends justify the means.
Yeah.
Very nice. Kind of like Thanos. I mean, you know, I personally, I don't know how you guys feel about Infinity War and the MCU, but I think Thanos has the strongest and purest motivation of all of the characters in Infinity War. By the end of the movie,
right? It's a real truth. It's a real truth.
I start feeling like he's the good guy by the end of the freaking movie. Yeah, I start feeling like he's the good. I'm like, he's right. All you guys are just making bad arguments. Like, there are good arguments to be made. You're not making them.
I found myself like, well, it was funny. Like, I love to study religions, and like I'm looking at this, and it's like, you know, a lot of this, like from his side, actually looks like the second coming and like the apocalypse from God's side. So it's just like, I found that so fascinating. Like, so he's the bad guy, and he identifies with, like, you know, like the All-Father, you know, like that's really fascinating. But like, he's the bad guy in this particular context. I've just that so many spirals.
The really interesting extra layer from that too, though, is that unlike a Judeo-Christian God who chooses the righteous to live and smites the evil, you have someone who's doing this at random. So he's, in some ways, he's acting in a more he's with the power of a god as a deity, very much in a coming first or second coming, depending on which denomination you are. I'm Jewish, so we haven't had our first coming yet. So, but he's a really interesting character, I think, because he's that great balance. If he has that theistic presence and that bringer of the apocalypse kind of presence with the impartiality of a force of nature.
Yeah.
Which was what makes him a great villain, which is why I love him. I have a villainy fetish. This is a secret about me. It's not that secret. I tell everybody, which is why I have a huge crush on Thanos. So that's all.
Well, now I don't take it for your birthday.
Oh gosh.
We have another super chat, another great question, right in this vein of conversation, so you know someone's paying attention. Brian from the Rebellion says, ask both of them if you could go up against any Marvel or DC superhero or supervillain, who would it be?
Woof. Oh, man. Hang on 1 second. This battery is really low. So we want to fix that because this is too good of a question. Oh, man.
Yeah, please, this question. For technical difficulties for a moment.
Okay. All right, we're good to go. We're plugged in. Okay, so DC or Marvel, DC and Marvel.
Or you can do and if you want, but the question is slash, so you can take that as it will. It could be and or.
Okay. All right. Wow. Who would I want to fight?
Yeah, wow, that's a.
I want to fight Ant-Man. Really? Part of that's just because, you know. No, man, that would be, that'd be a challenge.
Yeah. I think one person I would probably want to try to fight as Arctica would be Batman. I think because he would probably be one of the more interesting people to fight, not just because of, his cool gadgets and how physically strong he is, but because of his intelligence. It's very good strategy.
Good answers. Both good answers. I, as the God Empress, would fight Thanos just to see how I do, because, God Empress, still a lot of power there. So.
Could we do a DC and Marvel person? Maybe I'll narrow it down a little bit. With Marvel, I would definitely go against Loki because I think that he's the kind of person who you go up and fight. And sure, he definitely has a very vicious side to him. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a fight against him would be fun.
I think that.
Just like a fun battle, and that like by the time you're done, like maybe he annoyed you at the end. Like maybe you're like, oh god, I finally got you, and then you walk away, you're like, damn, that was a really quick time. Like,
I feel it's kind of like my journey about the whole Ant-Man thing. Like everything was just like, oh wow, you're all the different things. Like
yeah.
Yeah, I honestly would like to go toe to toe with Loki as well for those reasons. It was like Moriarty. It's a matching of wits. There's something really fun and like a game of it. There's a game to it, you know. And then ideally it would end that day with Loki and Loki having passionate sex, but you know. How it ends. How it ends. So, well, I mean, look, fighting. Your emotions are high. Into passion, intensity, and then you just end up like, oh, that was great. I respect you. I respect you. Let me respect your body.
I want to respect
Happened too. Oh goodness gracious! So the thing that I brought up ages ago that I do want to get back to, because I missed the episode where I would have known who this was. So Arctica, you puts some moves on the Irish lady. Who's Fiona in her superheroine goddess form. So at the end of that episode, though, this is the cliffhanger at the end of episode 14. Spoilers, guys. We see a very distressed lady who clearly has a connection to her. So what is that? Because I obviously missed this. Who is this person in relation to Fallon/Fiona? And why is she so distressed by this snapshot? The guy who just got knocked out wakes up, sees two women kissing. So first thing, of course, pulls out his camera and is like, let's take a picture.
Yeah, right. So it turns out Arctica's a little bit of a homewrecker.
And I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Whatever.
So that's Fallon's friend. And I'm not sure. I don't think it was ever established if Arctica knew that Fiona had a girlfriend. I don't think she even cared, to be honest, if she did know, because she was she's just going for it. Because you know what, she's warming up while she's frosting bad guys. You know what? Why not? So.
Unlocking those passions in the moment, I guess. That's like I said, fighting crime. You get passionate, you get heated, and things happen. Which I just love to say, that's the thing I do love about the show, is that moment is such an honest moment. There's something ridiculous about the moment. This guy just got knocked out cold. He's coming to, it seems a little unrealistic that that's what would happen. But at the same time, it calls to just such an intrinsic part of human nature of like, there's some superheroines running around fighting crime. Two of them are making out. What's the dude gonna do? Yeah, he's gonna be like, check this shit out. I want to get pictures of you.
That chick's kissing all right.
Yeah, I feel like all those other details almost kind of like fade away. It's just like hot chicks kissing. I must document.
Well, I mean, we all do stuff like that. I mean, like I was at the Cherry Blossom Festival in DC a few years ago, and it was really cool. At one point, though, like one of the cars of the parade just stopped, like just straight up stopped, and like the parade was going on without them. We were all kind of wondering, like, oh, like I guess the car broke down or something. And they got all the people off the car when this happened. But all of a sudden, we see smoke, and I'm just like, what? And then they had the lid open in the car, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, flame comes out. And what do me and a bunch of people do? We run out into the street to take a picture. I want to say I was a very, very, very safe distance away, but all of the cops around us were really mad. They're like, "Get back on the street!" And later on, I thought to myself, like, "What a dumb thing for me to do." I don't do stuff like that.
It's human. Guys, if you are just joining us in the live stream, make sure you press that like button. That's how we do. Mindless Entertainment. Also, we are joined tonight by a superheroine and a super villainess from the independently produced web series, Pittsburgh-based web series, Heroine Berg, about women with superpowers who kick ass. So that's what we got going on here tonight. We got Arctica and Scintilla. So if you guys have questions in the chat, go ahead and ask those. Obviously, if you send a super chat, we'll be sure to get to those questions. But I'm trying to keep up with the chat, and if your questions are popping up, if you got good questions popping up, we're trying to get to those as well. But that is, to that point, one thing that I love about Heroine Berg, one thing is so great, is that it doesn't ignore that human nature. There's so much of this highbrow socio-political commentary right now asks people to try to be some unrealistic version of themselves, asks people to be represented in a way that's completely unrealistic. And shows like Heroine Berg do such a great job of just taking it where it's at. You have characters like Poderosa, who has to deal with the real challenge of, I'm a superhero and I'm going to use my powers to be a better mom half the time, and just the honesty. And I would love to see something in the show, whether it's for Scintilla or not. But just like you said, where like hot guy shows up and you're like, oh, I guess I'm a good guy now. And it seems like something Heroine Berg would definitely do. So thoughts from whoever's writing. There you go.
Noted.
We got a super chat from John. Is it Doyes, whatever. I'm saying all the ways. Anyway, ignore this if it was brought up. It has not been, but could you take a moment to double down on why each of your characters deem themselves as the true protagonist? So why, or if you don't deem yourself the true protagonist, why not? How does each character justify their actions, their motivations?
Scintilla's in a nifty situation. For her, she's been let loose, so she's kind of like new money in this world. And she's all on her own. She doesn't have anybody to bounce off of, like any of her thoughts or ideas. Like, she knows that like there are these heroes that are out there. Like, she knows that there's all that out there and everything, but like she's not a part of it. She just suddenly woke up and she's like gifted with a talent for crime. And she's been pent up for so long. So, I mean, for her, it's like graduating high school, going to college, and like going to your first frat party. So, like, she's experimenting, so she can do no wrong. And where her head is at is just like full on self-indulgence. And I think in today's culture, where everybody's very, self-involved, and we're all very concerned about ourselves, which is another thing of human nature. And I think it's a natural thing. So she's going to milk that and probably go a little, full on sociopath about it. So like, no matter what, she's right. That's her motivation, is that she's right. She's paid her dues. Yeah, she's right.
That's right. We have so many mods in the channel now. This chat is so well policed right now. We have Proper Jenny, formerly Proper Jeremy, but Proper Jenny had his sex change and is now Proper Jenny. So that's exciting.
Yes.
It's exciting. Someone asked, I don't know if you guys are familiar at all with my world, but we have a big YouTube community. We call ourselves the Fandom Menace because we fight for the fans' voices in our pop culture. And Jeremy runs Geeks and Gamers, which is a growing channel. And there are over 200 parody Jeremy accounts. Proper Jeremy was one of the earliest ones. Proper Jeremy is now Proper Jenny. So,
hi, Proper Jenny.
That's just a little backstory there for you guys. So, Artika, your turn. Why are you the good? Why is your motivation pure? Why are you the goodest of the goods?
I think because, like I said, Artika is very focused on her research. So I think one aspect of her having superpowers is, I can do even more science stuff with this, because if I need more cold stuff, I can just make it, or I can experiment with it, or I can literally study myself. There's also, like I said, she, since discovering her superpower, she realizes, not only is she more than just a scientist because she has this newfound power, but it's also just that alone makes her realize, like, oh, I don't just have to be this rigid scientist role that I've been for so long. I can be something else. So I think in regards to her flirting with Fiona, it's more like, like, I've been ignoring this kind of like, actually we're in some ways we're not too dissimilar, because I think she's sort of like, so like, just kind of been ignoring like her dating and like wanting to meet people in her, and her sexuality. It's kind of like, I'm going to take the time now to explore it. And you know what? I don't care if this other chick has a girlfriend. I like her, and I'm just gonna go for it.
That's what we should all do, irrespective of whether people have girlfriends or not. We should.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we definitely should. I'm not saying be like Arctica. I'm just trying to explain.
I'll just tease them. So I have a couple questions regarding the show itself too. Now we've got some. So as people can see the background, we have Heroine Berg, but someone's written anti on it because right now where we're at in the show, due to meteors just randomly striking the Earth, very much like so. Everyone in the show, mostly Scintilla is sort of the exception. There's a couple exceptions, I guess. There's some scientific experiments gone wrong and whatnot, but for the most part, most of the people in the show get their powers by being by a similar way to the way Meteor Man gets his powers. There's a meteor, and now we have tons of superheroines running around. We have many super villainesses running around, and we have the heroine. For the word for there's an alliance now of the heroines who are going to fight crime together. There's an alliance of the baddies, the Black League, I believe, and they're who are going to. The Black Faction, led by a black person. Wow. Some punning going on there, maybe. And who want to assemble to essentially tear down the superheroines. And we know they're bad because they're led by a man. So Arctic is part of that, about part of the group of the heroines. Scintilla, as we just established, she's brand spanking new. She's a baby in the world of superpowers. She's off on her own. So my questions for each of you is for Arctica. So we saw in episode 13, there was this rift because Freya and Poderosa had very different concepts of how to lead. And they kind of came together to fight the evil. Do you see this rift, this conflict of ideologies between Freya and Poderosa, which of course nicely mirrored some of the ideological conflicts going on in society today? Do you see that becoming a problem as the show carries on?
I think it depends. I'm glad that that's there because I feel I'm glad that this show doesn't say like. The show doesn't like try to demonize one ideology over the other. It just tries to present it as this is how these people are, and I think depending on how the stories progress, I think that is something that maybe potentially could come up. That like there's definitely like a seed that's been planted there, but whether or not it'll sprout, it's hard to say. So it definitely could, or it could just be something that it's part of their history. Like, oh, like our league got off to a really bad start, but now everything's okay. And well, like, oh, haha, wasn't that fun when we were all trying to hurt each other? So,
well, I did think that was a really great part of episode 13 because it really set up in a way, and where any other show was going to take a stand and decide which one of these leaders was the right and just one, and which one was the wrong one. And this showed a really interesting thing where it didn't do that. It didn't, even the way that the people who said I'm with Freya or I'm with Poderosa aligned. It didn't go with any like, oh well, these characters have more of a proclivity towards doing things the bad way, and these characters are the more noble ones. But just they were different. They fractured differently, and then everyone came back together and said, "Do you have your ideas of merit and your ideas of merit? And let's work together." It's a beautiful thing that's missing from society today. So kudos to the show for dropping that little bit in there.
Yeah, I mean, even Arctica even said that it says in that episode, like, well, I don't agree with. I forget. She says she disagrees with something that Freya said, but she's like, but I am going to side with her because she'll help our research. Like that's a big thing for her. It's a really important thing for her. So
yeah, exactly. And so for you, Scintilla, as one of the newest superpowered additions to the show, what is? I mean, you obviously may know things. You can choose to spoil or not based on what you know. But you want to give us a hint of what the future might hold? Are you aligning yourself with the Black Faction? Are you? Is there a chance that she comes over to the good, or is she going to be doing her own thing, being an agent of chaos out there?
You know, I think she's the only one who really knows where that's going to go for her. You know what I mean? She's you know, she's a free spirit and she's got stuff to do. She's gonna figure it out. I think there's time will tell. You're just gonna have to keep up.
I'm excited. I'm gonna have to keep going because I'm gonna have to find out. We do have a super chat from Brian from the Rebellion. Thank you, Brian, for your super chat. It says maybe we can get someone to make you a comic.
Well,
when you say make you a comic, do you mean me? Because that would be dope. Or do you mean these guys? Because they already have one. So let me get that screen share going again. We have some in progress drawings from we have the Arctica pinup, which I think is just super cool. And then we have I'm gonna grab onto that so everyone can see the Arctica pinup, as well as, which I love those over the thigh boots. I want myself, or the over the knee boots. I want a pair of those.
Oh, yeah, I can get you a link for those.
Oh yeah, I know. I love them. When I first tried them on, I was like, I don't know. I have big feet. They went up at me, and then I zipped them up. I was like, holy crap, these are awesome, and they fit perftly.
Those are amazing.
Jealous. So in the comic, we've got Ex Machina. She looks like she's in a super robot suit. She was beating up Godzilla. So she's Mecha Machina in this form.
I got a kaiju.
Beats the crap out of Godzilla. Meanwhile, Arctica shows up being like, I'm schmexy.
Yeah, look at me. I'm just sauntering right up like, oh, don't worry, sweetheart.
Don't mind me. And is just putting the flirt on with Ex Machina there. And you can see a little bit of that camel toe right in that illustration. So it ain't no joke. It ain't no joke.
That's important right there. There's some proof right in it.
Indeed. Awesome. So that was, anyway, so the comic is there, and that's an opportunity for you guys to check out more Heroineburgh'S. So you guys haven't watched the show yet, Heroineburgh'S.com. We've been dropping links into the chat. I'll make sure that those are up on my channel as well. But very simple, Heroineburgh'S.com. Can't go wrong. It's spelled right out here on my shirt in case you're bad at spelling, and right there behind our wonderful ladies. I actually don't know, okay, because I see myself. Let me see. Let me take a look here. Oh, yeah, no, it looks correct. Because I see myself mirror imaged in the Hangouts. But, what did I just do? I just broke my entire screen. Broke it all. There we go. But yeah, so good. Everyone sees that correctly. That makes me happy.
That.com is what you want to put in.
Yeah, this at a.com, and you're there, and you can check out the show. Do we have a release date for episode 15 yet?
Do we have a date yet? I don't think we have a date yet. Oh, it'll be like middle of May.
Middle of May.
Yeah, a little bit further into spring.
Perfect. So that gives you guys plenty of time to get caught up in episodes 1 through 14 and get invested in this show. So we had Shannon Edge in here earlier. I don't know if he's still in the chat. He said, "Where's Regina?" He did watch at least some of the show. We did a giveaway. People who watched the show, if they messaged me and told me who their favorite character was, we sent them Heroine Berg stickers. And so Shannon Edge is a big fan of Regina. So unfortunately, she is not here with us today. But if you guys enjoyed this live stream, who knows what the future will bring? So
maybe these things. Maybe. But yeah, she'll be at the cons with us. We have a couple of cons coming up. Comic-Con, Steel City Comic-Con is coming up, and Three Rivers is coming up. So anybody in the Pittsburgh area, anybody who will be in the Pittsburgh area, it is April this week, 12th and 14th is the Three Rivers.
No, Steel City Comic-Con is April 12th through the 14th, and then Three Rivers is in mid-May. May 11th
and 12th is Three Rivers. So the next episode will be out in time for that.
Yeah, but a lot of us will be there, us heroines as well as villainesses, and you can come up to our booth and talk to us, and we'll have like T-shirts and stickers, some stuff from the show to sell, and you can come talk to us and hang out.
Yeah, come get photos taken. Come meet and greet. I think just about everybody's coming through, so it'll be a nice, healthy chunk of everybody. I'm pretty sure Regina will be there.
There you go. She's just seeming like a very important character on the show right now. And Shannon Edge is on the East Coast somewhere, so maybe he can take the trip out to one of your cons and meet you guys. I'm sure that'd be super cool. So Toxic Masculinity Avenger says these great name. He said something hilarious earlier that I don't remember, but I forgot to read it out. But he says these guests seem super cool, and I completely agree. I think these guests are absolutely fabulous. So, guys, if you have more questions, go ahead and hit that in the chat. Hit that in the chatties, and I'll try to see them when they pop up. Super chats are a sure way to make sure I read them. Other than that, let's get into some of your real life backgrounds, if you guys wouldn't mind. Like, what got you into acting? How did you get involved in this project? A little bit of that stuff.
You want to start?
Sure. Well, I was one of those extremely shy children, but when you put me on a stage, I came to life finally. So I did stuff in high school and college, but it was really only a few years ago I got more involved in my area's community theater groups. Got into those groups, started doing a bunch of plays with them, and then eventually I found out about stuff like the Pittsburgh 48-hour film project. If you're with what the 48-hour film project is, I've been in a couple of those, so I like doing that every year because those are a lot of fun. And I've been in one feature film. It's called Night Zero, and it is available in Walmart and on Target and on Amazon Prime. And I play not a zombie, but like a infected person who kind of acts like a zombie. But I do have like 2 nice shots in the movie, so that was fun. But I found out about Heroine Berg because I was looking through a bunch of casting calls, and they were going to retire the character, actually, because the first actress who played her was going to leave. And I remember reading the casting notes, and I was like, well, I want someone with red hair. And I was like, you know what, I'll just send it anyway. Who knows? I wrote, hey, like, my hair's not red, but it looks red-ish under certain lighting. And the director got back, and they were like, red-ish hair is fine. And I met up, and we talked, and I said, oh, yeah, I absolutely want to do this. This sounds amazing. I've never, and all the stuff I've done acting-wise, I've never been a superhero before. And I signed up, and I just loved it. I just loved it right away. Like, the first time we did all of us girls got our own little, like, video promo, and like just from that first time I just really felt myself sinking in. I was like, I really love doing this.
Yeah, the introduction photo shoot was really like, that was a cool moment.
Yeah,
that was really cool moment. Just like, oh, this seals the deal. Like, you're zipping up into the suit, just like, okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. And just one more thing I just wanted to add. I am also a member of a improv troupe called the Cellar Dwellers, and we perform a weekly improv show, which is called F and Improv, and we do it every Friday night. So our tagline is, we do it every Friday. Every Friday.
That's a good tag. That's very improv of you. It just adds improv. I have feelings. I don't have any serious prejudice against improv, just like minor ones. I do it every now and then. But I'm more of a stand-up comedian person. Me, actually, so a few hours after we're done here, I will be heading out to Burbank to host an open mic because.
Oh, awesome!
Yep.
Yeah.
I do every Wednesday and try to be funny. So I don't always succeed. But anyway, what was I going to say? Or before we get to Scintilla, I actually have a couple of these intros. I think we have some character intros for episode 15 even. So, I have some episode 15 stuff right here that I can show you guys.
Oh.
Let's take a look at one of these character intros first. You've got Zinnia. So let's show you hers because I got a little clip of her in action. So let me get that screen share back up. I'm assuming since these were given to me ahead of time, I'm allowed to show them. So I specifically said, give me some stuff that I can show everybody. So it's happening. All right, let me see. Let me just make sure we're locked on my screenception right now. And Here we go. All right. So Zinnia. Pew.
Hello, Heroine Berg fans! I am Zinnia, defender of nature. I'll be joining Gardenia in her fight to save the planet. But I might get into some perilous situations. Watch for my stunning debut in episode 15 of Heroine Berg.
Her face with the ass so cute.
So you can tell she's like, I'm not laughing. So let's see a little
Oh god. Her face right here.
Zinnia in action.
Rolling camera 1.
Okay.
Rolling camera 2, scene 7. Take 3, picking up the pen to the accomplice. 3, 2.
Becky will just have to catch up when she gets this. Now to catch that sleazy developer and his accomplice.
So
Awesome.
Cut, let's do one.
All right. So very cool. Nice behind the scenes look at episode 15. So for those of you guys who haven't seen Heroineburg before, you got a nice sense right there of sort of how the show goes. It's full camp.
that's the very first sidekick.
Huh?
That's the very first sidekick introduced to the Heroineburgh'S stellar.
Exciting. So I like that. It's very much, she definitely has a very sidekicky vibe to her. That very like, I'm going to help everybody.
Yeah. To help save the environment. I'm in love already.
So that's a nice little snippet of how it's full on camp. There's no, they don't shy away from that at all. It really actually leans into it more than anything else, which is one of the things I really enjoy about watching the show. And one of the other things that you see with her, like she's very, very sticky. You guys are all different shapes and you are all wearing these nice form-fitting costumes that I think do, and this is a beautiful thing about the show. It's like, it's this perfect dichotomy of, we're not shying away from the male gaze. We're making these sexualized characters. We're sexualizing them. But at the same time, we're also with them tall boots and everyone running around here. One of my favorite parts is everyone like running to fight the villains in a 13 and like in their heels, just like, this is as fast as I can go with these heels.
It was fun.
Those
Also scary to film.
God. Oh my god. So that was great. I mean, and then, but then the balance of that is too, is you're featuring all different sizes and shapes of women, all different color of women as well. So it's really, without trying to push some crazy agenda, it sort of pokes fun at the agenda almost. I mean, there's a line in one of the, I think it was Zinnia's episode, or Ginnia's episode rather, where it's like, oh, it's so good to see an Arabic superhero in the neighborhood. You know, so sort of poking fun of that diversity idea. Well, actually, just honestly representing different looking people without making a big deal or a big agenda about it. So I think that's right.
Yeah. This project. I completely agree with you. Like, it made it real easy to come onto this because there wasn't like an intention of like, I need to have this, I need to have this, I need to have this. It was like, this should be seen. Like that was in there, but it was still from such a place of innocence where it's just like, all of this is out there. Let's just make it cool, you know, where it's not about an agenda. It's not about like, there's no cataloging, to make sure, have we covered this? Have we covered this? Have we covered this? It's just natural ideas coming up. And like, it just ends up being diverse because there's that much cool that's out there. And like the director just recognizes that.
It doesn't feel like a...
Exactly.
So Alicia Scintilla, if you could tell us a little bit about your background as an actor and how you came to be on the show as well.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, honestly, I'm very much the same. Where like I was shy as a child. My father at Christmas one year though, he brought home a camcorder, and like this shy, reserved, quiet. I was the good one, I was the baby, and my brother picked on me and pulled my hair and burned my hair on the stove. Like that was my life. But you put the camera on, and you would have never known that. It was just, what is this thing? What? I can do whatever? Like, you're probably going to edit it and make it look cool, right? So, like, every time there was a camera on me, I just was like, I remember television. It's right there. I know how to do these things. And so I just completely transformed. But through existence, it's not like I did plays in school. I did plays in high school. And I always felt terrible because I got really good parts in college theater, but I was not a theater major. And like, that was a terrible thing. Because like, wait, this is like what it, well, no, because it's like, that's whenever it matters. People are doing this because like they want to act in the future. And I'm like, I'm never going to be an actress.
It's also good practice for actually acting. Though.
Right, absolutely.
That's what
but
happens
like,
all the time.
Yeah, but like, I never thought that I was going to be that person. I never actually thought that I was going to actually get to do theater. I was like, I'm good at this and I like this a lot, but like, shelf life and things like that. Like I always talked myself out of my actual interests. And like, so like my college degree and everything else, like, and my life afterwards, like I identified with my character a whole lot. After college, I did retail for a little bit until I ended up in banking. And I was in banking for like, like 7 years, 8 years. I was in banking for 8 years. Yeah, someone saved me, really, right? I'm just saying, I need a support group. But I was in like that cube life, like it was all back office stuff and whatnot, and it was very cool in certain aspects because like these names that come across you, whatever, doesn't matter. Sucked. It really did. It was terrible. And somewhere in the middle there, though, I found this batch of burlesque dancers in Pittsburgh, and originally I was with University of Bombshells and Cabaret Vulgaire and a few other people. So I've been performing then on the side for years until about almost 3 years ago. I had like my moment of just like, this is bullshit. And I don't want to do this half of my life anymore. I want to go full tilt. And so that was whenever I was doing burlesque, and I'm still go-go dancing, as I mentioned before, at the one night club. And like, that's really grown and expanded. Like we do, through showgirling, there are so many options available to you. So that's most of my existence is dancing in rhinestones and not a lot of clothing, but having a blast doing it and traveling and going places doing that. And then I'm in a couple of bands, and and I do a lot of promotions. I run the other thing outside of showgirling and all that fun stuff. I have gotten to do like some acting and over the which has been a lot of fun whenever I've been lucky enough. But I didn't look for any of it. It was just like through burlesque and other things that like, even through this, like that's how this connection came about. And family, actually, oddly enough. I have a much older brother out there who knows the director and was like, so my half sister is a bit of a loud person, and I'm pretty sure she'd be great for this. And so I got recommended by my blood and with blood that we used to, we grew up talking comics. So comics were always like a big thing for us. I mentioned this in the podcast. I will say it here as well. So like my love of comics came in like back in, I think I was maybe like 6 or so years old. And like we had a corner store we would ride our bikes to, and like we'd go get packages of Marvel cards. So like my very first Marvel card package, I open it up and everything. I'm from a very small town where like if you have melanin, you stand out. So my very first Marvel card that I opened up, the very first thing I see, Punk Rock Storm with that mohawk and leather jacket and everything. I was like, everything's going to be fine. So like, superheroes saved me way back when, way back when. And whenever this project came into play, it was just like, whatever you need me to do, I'm here for this. I'm here for this. I read the character description. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's me. Like, just let me, just please. And yeah, everything since then has just been a marvelous adventure.
He gets into character very well.
This does sound perfect for you. We had some fun comments that I didn't want to miss, which was the Toxic Masculinity Avenger says, I want to be a villain that kills all the trees so I can print counterfeit money and make puns about my wood. I just thought it was an excellent Yeah, it's ideas, all ideas for Heroineburgh'S. I hope you're listening. These are all ideas you can just steal.
We live in a world of entrepreneurship. If he would like to write that, I would, I'd watch it. I might share it if it's good.
There you go. We also had Shannon Edge asked, I can't believe we've been there this so long, if it would be possible to get a full body turn.
A full, like we need to stand up and turn around.
Stand up, get a full male gaze on.
How much? I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, look, this is a business here. Send those super chats, and we'll get that. We'll get them ladies.
That's what I'm talking about. Super chats for that. I'm just saying. This is how we hold strong.
There you go. I feel like I become a pimp master if that happens. But
sorry, this is the way showgirling works. I'm blending my worlds.
We also had someone else. Tiger One said he was going to check out the show. John Joyce says that he's going to be doing this show. So thank you guys. If you're interested in watching Heroineburgh.com, 100% absolutely check it out. It's full of camp. It's full of that theme songs get stuck in your head forever. So
yeah, that's the thing.
Speaking of which, actually, you know what? We might as well just get it stuck in everyone's head.
You gonna play it?
Yes, do it right now. Do it right now. It's awesome.
The worm.
There you go. I've got a. What is this? This is my. I think it's my. It's my season 1 transformation montage. Do we have the song in this one? I don't know.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. There you go. So that was Sabrina. And I do love those moments where we get them in their full character, and they're just like, you just stare at them for a while. This is the music. I don't know if we'll get the words. This is fun anyway, but oh boy. All right, she goes through all her different, not sure if she likes it. Forgot about that. Get to, there we go. There's the words. Final form.
She's shooting out laser beams, taking over computer screens.
There, Shannon, I hope you're watching because there's Regina for you.
There you go. Check out her band Only Flesh. If you're a big fan of Regina, check out Only Flesh.
Yes.
They're a sick Pittsburgh band. Seriously.
Also just crazy.
Oh, yeah. And that's all part of the show. Check it out. Sideshow. Yeah.
You guys getting the idea of some of the characters, some of this excellent music that you're missing out by not watching this show. Let's see if we can find your guys's. Well, Arctica's will be not her, but let's see. Elvira. Oh wow, we got a whole different music going on now. This is it's
fun watching this because like bits and pieces of like, oh, that's Pittsburgh, that's like you were like I'm able to recognize, oh, that's Kativo, that's or whatever. Like,
right.
Oh, here's another great Regina transformation. Back with the music. There she is. Yana! So there you go. If you want a sense of transformation, the epic song that's not stuck in your head yet, that's now going to be. So you're welcome, world. Got that going on. And whatchamacallit? Where are we? Back. I'm getting back here. I'm getting back to where we are. So that's the epic music. Some of this transformation. Unfortunately, yeah, that's only season 1, so we don't get Scintilla's transformation. But well, I mean, I can always pull it up. That's did you? I'm trying to remember. Do you have like a full-on trans? Yeah, you do. And you're in the house. You have a full-on. Everyone gets transformation.
You betcha.
do have a super chat from Johnny Doe Eyes, who says, "I respect you and your decision to not show off your costume."
Thank you.
Cheers.
Let me come back to
that. It is a super chat, so by that logic, now that we've been paid, should we now be showing off the costume? I don't know.
Well, was it for us showing off the costume, or was it because it was respect for not showing off the costume?
It was respect for not particularly to do it. So that's Flaming GP says respect yours for now for $9.99. So I will take that as just a gesture of respect. We'll think that is what it is, respect. But let me see if I can quickly find. Let me see if I can pull it up because I do have episode 14 right here as well. Maybe we can find your transformation for everybody. Then, la 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 la. Oh, here I'm right on it. So if you want to know what this darling looks like, here, let's share that screen. When in her other identity, her alternate identity. Screen share screen. Do it. Screenception. Lock on that. And here we go. Boom. Bam. That was very exciting. Oh, that was just this. There you go. That was very quick. Thank you for that. That's my bad.
Well, I guess
that's my bad. It was only the trailer. Let me find the full-on pupper dude because you have some great lines in there too that I just really enjoy. I love another one of my favorite parts about the show is how everyone just instinctively knows what their powers are as soon as they get them.
Yep.
There's accountant Cynthia Mantilla working at her desk, wishing she was Selena Kyle. La la la. Walks home, finds a shiny stone. Crime happens. Someone gets abducted, and you got a shiny stone. And now oh my God, all the powers. What's happening to my body? Regina's getting. Oh wait, I got to show the slap because it makes me so happy. Oh, here we go. Boom. Boom. I'm like right. Perfect moment. This is just the very first one is the best one because he just walks over. You'll see it. He just walks over and just. I just.
You guys do what you do best.
That's just one of my favorite parts of this entire series so far. So she gets beaten up for a gratuitously long amount of time. Oh my God, gratuitous violence against women. How terrible. Come on. This is only half an hour episode. Why is it taking so long? Oh, here we go. You're all strong now. Like
it disappeared. Well, but I feel amazing. Wait though, something's happening. Wait,
maybe you have to pee really bad. Snap.
This is incredible. I feel so strong. And I have two powers. I can see a few moments into the future.
Of course I can.
And not only that, I have the big flash too. Let's see what marvelous mischief I can get into. Looks like I lost.
So she flashed into a presumably bank or someplace and stole bunches of money. Very exciting stuff. This is what you all are missing, guys, by not watching the show. Those of you who haven't watched it yet. Anywho's. So yeah, that's Scintilla's transformation. I love that. I love that sound effect. That just like laser chart. Whoa! Johnny Doy says another $10 super chat, but he did not add a message to that one. I gotta fill up the drink. We got two super chats, this one and another one. And so I don't know if that means he's paying for. I mean, he's not making it clear what he wants out of this. We'll drink for it anyway. Blister Bill says, "I'll take 20% respect for $1.99." So that's 20% respect from him. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We appreciate that. Yeah, chat, if you guys have more questions, by all means, ask away. I've got these gals here, so certainly. Let me see if I missed any questions so far. Can anyone tell me how long the stream is going so far? That's not really an interesting question, but about an hour and 25 minutes. So,
but now we know.
The Toxic Masculinity Avenger, keeping in perfect character, says, the last time I saw a pink flash, it cost me $20 at a nudie bar. Appropriate.
Well, then you got a good deal.
Right. I'm really appreciating the Toxic Masculinity Avenger and thing. An overly he has another character suggestion. An overly sensitive bounty hunter called Boba Fifis. This is on my channel. We pretty much exclusively refer to our feelings as Fifis. They're like feelings only cuter. So there's actually I sell Fifis, so you guys can get Heroine Berg t-shirts. You guys can get Fifi t-shirts. And yes, I have Fifi's t-shirts now too. That one says, no one cares about your Fifis, and the other one says, that hit me right in the Fifis. And they're both awesome designs. My mom got the no one cares about your Fifi shirt. It's got my face on it. She sent me a picture proudly wearing it. It was very cute.
That's amazing.
Wonder. She's a good mom. Do your parents are your parents, do they like watch the show and stuff? No.
My parents haven't. I mean, I've showed like my mom like her trailers and stuff, but she's not all. I mean, it's not that she's not tech savvy, but it's sort of like, well, like at one point you come over and you pull it up. So, so not yet.
It's always like, what's that old adage? Like, you know, if you're in show business, like, chances are, you know.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
Yeah, I have no. I have an amazing family, but my family is very busy, and therefore I am definitely one of those people. Like, oh my God, love my family. My family's awesome and everything like that. But like, you know, I'm the runt of the litter. I'm the baby, so I'm always just like, give me attention, and they're always just like, okay, crazy person, we're gonna be over here. And we're gonna like be reasonable human beings. You're different, but I mean, really though. I mean, but my mom has come to see me do burlesque though. My mom came to see me do burlesque when I lost both pasties.
Good time. Put on a show for mom. Wow.
Yeah, real. Like you made them, so like welcome.
That's awesome. We have another $1 super chat from John Doe. He says, my respect cannot be put into words, only monetized at $9.99. Cheers to that, my good friend.
Yes.
Fun stuff. Now, my family is very supportive, which is nice. I mean, they're as well as like engaged. My mom will try to. She said she was going to watch the live stream, so she might be watching right now. And shout out to mom if you're watching. My grandma watched my videos. She can't figure out live streams. Live streams are too hard. But we set my I think we just showed her how to get to my channel on YouTube, so she watched my videos and she thinks they're great. So that's adorable. I'm like, I told her, I was like, Grandma, there's some strong language in my content. I'm not a prude. I'm like, okay, all right, Grandma. So there you go. Yeah. Shout out to the grandmas.
I mean, everybody's really supportive. Just like I said, they're not always super tech savvy. Like they come and see a lot of like my plays, and what was I just about to say? And they did come to. I did not tell them this, but they came. I was in this awesome show called Unhinged. It was the second show they had done. It's like a show they did. It's like a really cool interactive Halloween theater show these people do every year. And this was the second one, but I was in a mini play in there where at one point, like me and a bunch of other characters on the show, we only went down to like our underwear, but like at one point I just take my dress off, and I think I was like, well, they're gonna be surprised. My boyfriend's also sitting next to them, so. But it was
sitting there like, yeah, and mom's like, So speaking of mom, I just got a text from my mother. She says, I'm having fun watching, Jesse. I'll have to set up a
That's awesome.
I love it. It was awesome. She was I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ethan Van Sciver. He's a comic artist. He's worked for DC and Marvel. He works independently now. And he's part of what's called the High Council. So on Tuesday nights, Jeff from the channel World Class Bullshitters and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers all live stream together doing the High Council. And my mom was watching that as well. And she texted me saying she was watching. And so Ethan said hi and was sort of dialoguing with my mom, and it was very sweet. And so now my mom will sometimes, ask about Ethan, and Ethan will ask about my mom. So it's
that's great.
I'm gonna have to get an autograph picture with him for when I meet him at Star Wars Celebration next weekend. So that's where I'll be while you guys are rocking your Pittsburgh con. I will be in Chicago for Star Wars Celebration, which will be exciting. I'm not a con person. I'd rather be in your position where I'm, a featured guest. The big crowd's not my shtick, so I'm sort of like a little bit apprehensive about how that's gonna go, and it's gonna follow people.
That's always the good trick, right? Just picture everybody naked, because that doesn't make anything awkward at all. Who ever said that? I never understood that.
It's like, what if it's full of people that you don't even like? Because then it's kind of worse.
For reals. I mean, like
it's like in DBZ Abridged, where they have like Vegeta, and he's like in his ape form. He's like, oh god, it's like walking in a Frieza in the shower. Wait a minute, Frieza's always naked. Ah!
Oh goodness. Let's see any other we got hellos to my mom in the chat. And do we have any other questions? You guys have any questions? Is there any, someone did ask earlier, I guess they missed it when you guys talked about how you got involved in the show. So if you want to just quickly recap how you ended up on Heroine Berg.
I found a casting notice on Facebook, and they were going to retire the Arctica character, because the original I played the original actress played her in her introductory episode in episode 6, and then she left, and they were looking for someone else, so they were potentially going to retire the character. And then I said, like, hey, I just kind of looked at it, it's like, well, I don't know if I'll get it, but you know what, I'll just send it anyway, what the hell. And then I just got back right away, and I met up with the director, and we talked, and I was pretty much instantly on board and happy about it.
Awesome. And you, Cynthia, Alicia?
I forgot about this. My full story is a little bit longer as to how I got involved in this, because the director reached out to me because my much older brother had told him about me and to reach out to me. And whenever he first did, it was for season 1 for an entirely different character, and it just didn't work out. And so it was just so freaking cool then, because it was really disappointing. Like, I'm seeing like all this stuff coming out. I'm like, well, I'm not involved. So like the whole first season, like I have sidelines. And then suddenly I get this email from the director again, and he's like, so this is this new character that I've come up with, and everything about it. It was so fantastic, because like everything that like wasn't working out before was cleared away, and like there was this character that I could just completely identify with and have so much fun playing. And then I get the costume, and then I get to like have my Julie Newmar moment, and also splicing with some Emma Peel, because I mean, hello. But yeah, that was how I got involved, through my family, and through some interesting decisions, and fate working out.
It actually worked out, but it didn't work out.
Exactly. Second time around, we're good to go, and here we are, black and pink.
Well, that's awesome. That is super, super cool. I did when actually I've been in contact with your director for a little while now. He reached out to me, and a long time ago. It was in the middle. It was right at the beginning. I was traveling a ton for work. I referee fencing in addition to you. That's like my only 2 jobs. Well, 3. I coach fencing, I referee fencing, and I do YouTube. And I'm also myself actually an actor as well. So I'm working on my acting career out here as well. But yeah, so he reached out, and I was traveling a whole bunch, so it took me forever to get to watch it and do a review on my channel. And then we decided to do this interview, which is super cool. And he mentioned, he was like, if you ever want to come out to Pittsburgh, maybe we could throw you in an episode. So that would be amazing if I ever got that opportunity.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That'd be really slick. It'd be fun to work. Fun to work with you.
Really, it's really
we'll do brunch. It'll be delightful.
That'd be super fun. That'd be super fun. I'd be so down. Now, actually, if I do that, that would be a number one thing I would want to do is like do a big hangout with as many of the cast that could make it. That would be.
That would be. Yeah,
look at everybody. Like that's.
Have a costume party.
But the three of us could just do brunch because now I know you guys, so you're special.
This is happening. Well, at least pick you up at the airport. I mean, come on.
Oh, Shelby airport with a big sign. Jesse, you're on Courage Drive.
Super escorts.
I did have somebody twice now in my life. I've had people make me signs. In both cases, it was people, fans turned friends from my meeting for the first time in their respective countries. So I was getting off the plane in Australia. One was getting off a train in Germany. Who both had signs for me, and one of them put God Empress on it, and it was adorable. So
that's amazing. What an honor!
That's awesome.
I love that moment. Kudos.
Yeah.
That's what I like in my having signs with my name on it. It's just every time I get off the airplane and I see other people's signs, I'm like,
I will so.
Well, if you guys ever come out to Los Angeles, I'll make signs for you guys as well.
All right, well, I'm coming. All right, I'll see you soon.
Heroine Berg visits LA. It's super fun out here. We do things. I don't know what we do. We do things. We must do things. It's a big city.
And there's plenty of bad guys too.
Yes.
Say hello to.
My mom texted. She said, do they know you spent your toddlerhood in Pittsburgh? Yes, Mom. We covered that at the very, very beginning. She says, we lived on Crofton Drive. You went to preschool at Rodef Shalom and walked the streets of Shadyside, Squirrel Hill. Also ate at a caboose-turned restaurant on the Three Rivers.
OMG. So like,
Pittsburgh
right now is like streets away from Shadyside. We're like very, very close to Shadyside where we're at right now.
Wow. That's so cool. And I remember both of those, Shadyside and Squirrel Hill, both being mentioned in Heroine Berg at various points too.
Yes.
Very photogenic parts of the city. I mean, exceptionally beautiful pieces of the city. Really, truly.
Full of good food.
Oh, the architecture. So gorgeous. Yeah. It is a pretty city. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Between this and Perks of a Wall, being a wallflower, I'm telling you. Very, very photogenic. But like some of my favorite ways the city has ever been showcased ever.
Yeah.
I actually have not been back in a long time, so I would definitely. I owe it a trip out there, another trip out. So.
And it's fun because there's so much that really is happening in Pittsburgh now. Like between like the entertainment scene and the tech scene, what's growing here is exponential. It's really exciting to be here. I mean, it's a whole new. It's like a renaissance for Pittsburgh right now. Everything that's going here.
And we're getting a lot of shows like Mindhunter coming in,
right?
And movies.
Yeah, filming's coming back.
And we're also experiencing a huge food renaissance here.
Oh my goodness. The food here is amazing.
Like, I mean, people hear Pittsburgh and they're like, oh, Primanti Brothers. And it's like, we have so much more stuff than Primanti Brothers. There's so much good stuff. I mean, there's like all different sorts of ethnic foods everywhere.
Ethnic foods and concepts. Like there's this like restaurant empire taking over from a place that, oh my goodness, their names is escaping me, but like there's Meat and Potatoes and Butcher and the Rye and they're open, and tacos spelled T-A-K-O.
Yeah.
And they're very worldly, eclectic palates, and they do these like beautiful, conceptual, and accessible dishes that are fine dining entertainment to go out to. And there's so many good shows that are coming through downtown lately. Just like it's a good time to come to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Juliana, excellent sales pitch. We have some questions for anybody, and also for anybody who's joined us a little late in the game and missed some of the preamble. First of all, if you are just joining us, make sure you are hitting that like button or pressing it as we do in the channel. We're talking with the superheroine and super villainous from Heroineburg, the Pittsburgh-based superheroine show. And so we've got Arctica and Scintilla. So if you guys real quick once again would like to just go over with their showing off their excellent dance moves. You want to just go once again and just give us a little background on your characters and how they end up with their superpowers and how they fit into this universe.
Happy to.
Well, Arctica is a cryogenic physicist, and she works in a lab with her partner, who later becomes the superhero Spectrina, who has the power of like the light spectrum. She kind of has like rainbow lights, lasers that she uses. But they're working in their lab together, and an experiment goes awry, which another villainess named Morphia comes out of that. And Arctica at first is just like, oh my god, I'm freezing, what's going on? And then later on, she's like, oh wait, I feel fine, and I can make ice come out of my arm. This is cool. So that's how she gets started.
It's a really fascinating experience to consider encountering that, like, suddenly, not just like energy, like just like, what does that feel like?
Right.
You know, just like seriously, it's a real question.
Yeah, I mean, I've now sort of imagined, like, you know how in the first X-Men movie, she's like, you know, like, when those claws come out, does it hurt? He's just like, every time. Like, when the ice comes out, is it cold? No, it feels hot. Of course it's ice. Of course it's cold.
Marco Zach in the chat says, Marvel is getting serious competition. I know, right? Man.
Right. Seriously, we coming for you. We coming.
All right, so Scintilla, your brief background once again for those.
Yes. So Scintilla, once upon a time, was a pretty young thing named Cynthia, who was an accountant working in accounting, and that life was very challenging for her. She was a little bit bored about it, and unfortunately, she was a chick who lived very much inside of her head. Big imagination. It is true. She was a big fan of certain black cat suited lady that everybody knows about from way back when. And this one day, this girl Cynthia, she's out for a walk, just doing a thing, and she sees this glowing piece of, you have a cat. And she's sorry, I'm like,
I do. Sorry, it's perfect timing. Like,
sorry,
Kitty.
Here's Land. This is Lando. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it was just perfect time. This is Lando Catrus.
Oh, it's so
just like Colt 45.
His brother-in-law is around here somewhere, but Lando's feeling snuggly, so he came to anyway. By all means, continue.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, the second she said, I was like, what, where?
So, Cynthia, she goes for a walk. She's on her way home from work, and she sees this glowing piece of rock. Doesn't know what it is. It happens to be a mysterious piece of meteor. And she just thinks, pretty shiny crystal. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. So she takes it home with her. And she goes to sleep that night and wakes up the next day. And I'm trying not to be distracted by the cat that I can see on you.
Now he's rubbing his
So not fair.
No.
Kidding. So she goes to sleep, feeling like a little bit weird and everything, and goes through her transformation. Whenever she wakes up the next day, she finds that she has certain powers. She's got the big flash, she's got the little flash, and she can see just a little bit into the future. And it's just enough to give her an edge that with everything else that she's got going for her, she's a very calculating character. She's able to join the dark forces and start a life of crime with her newfound powers. And it's, the creature's unleashed.
We had a question in the chat. It says, why do the villains always monologue? Mark Taylor wants to know.
Well,
how else would you know what we're doing? Like, how else would you know? Like, we have to tell you, because, like, that's part of the thing. I mean, like, every time you're a villain, aren't you a narcissist? So, like, obviously, you have to, like, show everybody just how brilliant you are.
Well, I mean,
like,
you think, too, of the time and the effort that goes into their plans.
Appreciated.
They don't, like,
nobody appreciates.
You don't think about the supers are probably their only audience, because like they do it to, like, people in the city or something, but people don't actually know why he did it.
So
he probably just is like, he's just like, oh, I've just been dying to tell somebody, but it's over you.
Because we're not really bad guys. We're not really bad guys. Everybody's got us wrong. Like, everybody has this wrong. We are not bad. We have, you know, everybody's got their own reasons for doing what they have to do. And like, we're just telling our story. We're just telling our truth.
There you go. I just want to point out we had a marked uptick in viewers when the cat came on. So
Thanks for that.
Seriously,
that's the secret.
We also did get a super chat. Thank you, Proper Jeremy, for the super chat. Hi, kitten. Yes, back in my lap. And Proper Jeremy says, Proper Jenny says, to clarify, I'm not trans. I changed my name as an April Fool's joke. YouTube won't let me change it back. Now I'll be Proper Jenny.
You get what you pay for, sir.
Yes, Proper Jenny, I'm aware of your plight, but it's just too funny to not let it go. So, this is actually, so it was an April Fool's joke that he did this. And there's Caitlin Keeper of the Jeremys, who keeps track of all these accounts. And Proper Jeremy was previously the president of the Council of Jeremys, and he was stripped of his title because he's no longer a Jeremy. She is now Jenny. So there had to be a vote to get a new president of the Jeremys. It was this whole funny thing, and now, oh well, you're stuck.
What?
Proper Jenny also sent a follow-up chat. Says, by the way, these ladies are fabulous. I know, right?
Oh, are you? I'm gonna
Indeed. My April Fool's prank was far less permanent. And nobody believed it either. Well, that's actually okay. So I got a couple people. There were 1 or 2 people in the chat that were like, "Oh my god, you totally got me." Everyone else in the chat was like, "Haha, you really didn't need to say April Fools," because I made a video where I made a video where I basically pretended that I had bought in 100% to the patriarchy and that all the problems in my life were clearly because I'm a woman and being discriminated against. So that was
anti-brainwash.
Nobody believed me. They were like, "Yeah, right." That's like, I don't know. We don't have to get serious, but if you guys want, I don't know if you have feelings about these things or not. And I don't talk about my political leanings a whole lot on my channel. I choose not to. I like to keep everyone guessing. So it's really fun for me. And I think at some point I do want to start talking more about how, like, everyone talks about these narratives and they're like, oh, they're silencing conservatives and all the liberals are crazy and whatnot. I'm like, naturally, funny thing is, I'm much, much more to the left and very much more liberal. But rejecting those psycho narratives at the same time and getting ultimately lumped in with people on the right, but then people on the right get mad at me because I have opinions that are more or less. So basically, I've been called alt-right and a social justice warrior. It's very exciting.
I feel that.
So, yeah. So I don't know if you guys have opinions on like the current. We don't have to get into this if it's not a topic you want to stray into, but on the current various narratives regarding women, feminism, female empowerment, which one, where you guys fall in that spectrum and things like that.
Personally, in terms of politics, I like to have my conversations in person, which I mean this absolutely works for that. I've seen so much stuff go awry where like I've been called like ultra left, ultra right by all the wrong people who have no idea who I am and things of that nature. But like I grew up in a very political family, so it was, and like my dad was a history teacher, so it was obviously very important to us to be in touch and to be paying attention, especially as people of color. It's one of those things like you can't really turn it off, and we certainly never could. So no matter what, it just behooved us to at least know what the frick was going on. So you can't help but have opinions whenever you see the way people are treated and the way people are left behind, and today, you know, you see everybody knows what the world's like today, and how many details you want to go into it. I think we just really need to remember that we're all still here in the same country, and we should probably come to the same table and sit the frick down and figure out how to just like look at each other in the eye without wanting to just like either defend or offend, just to do it, just to like get that kind of high. Because I think that's one of those things that we're really, really stuck on. After we get over that hump, then we can talk like adults about everything. Because I mean, there's so much good stuff that's happening right now. I mean, there's, you know, people say about the Me Too movement and it's doing a lot of good. I'm seeing women go into powerful positions, and that's awesome, and that's really, really helpful. Whenever I'm looking at like all this new stuff about the presidential elections that are coming on, I'm already mad. I'm already mad about so many things because like I just, oh, we want change. So like all these people who are saying about what kind of change they're going to bring, and it's still always the same story. There's some kind of overhaul that's required, but I think it's more like just individual psychologically. Like we just need to like all just be adults, and then we'll figure things out when it comes to politics.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Bridget, how about you? Anything if you want to weigh in, or don't, you feel free to not. I know these can get to be touchy issues, so always feel free to not weigh in as well.
Oh, I mean, sure. There's definitely stuff, I guess I would say, on like the big side of the Democrat, Republican. There's some things I agree with a little bit on one side, a little bit more on the other. I guess I would say a bit more left-leaning myself. But I'm not one of those people that says like, oh, you're a Republican, so you automatically must be like a hellspawn, and you should like get out of here and stuff. I don't like to think that way. I think that it's not necessarily fair to think that way because there's stuff that I don't necessarily like about Democrats either. Certain things that I guess bother me is when I see media where I want to say I like the message that's coming through, but I feel like I'm being talked at and not shown. And that kind of bothers me because it's like, no, I agree with you, but I don't want to watch the propaganda.
It's like strings are being pulled.
I want to watch a story, and I still want to watch things that kind of challenge me. Like, well, example, I've never read the book Gone Girl, but I went to go see the movie. I really liked the movie a lot. I liked Amy's character because she was, my God, she's horrifying, terrible, terrible person. But I remember reading somewhere online that like a lot of women were criticizing this is an outrage because she's making us girls look bad, and movies have made us look bad. And it's like, sure, stereotypes have existed about women for hundreds of years. I mean, Eve in the Garden of Eden. I mean, there is stuff like that. There's a little merit to that. But at the same time, I'm like, but we should still be allowed to have good, bad female characters too, because it just means I don't look at it as like, oh, you're making girls look bad. I'm looking at it as like, it just goes to show that we're human. Because we need to remember that women women can be really terrible people sometimes too. Like, sure, there's a lot of terrible men, but there's a lot of terrible women too. Like, we're all human in that respect. And just this conversation kind of reminds me of the first episode that I was ever on in Heroineburgh'S was episode 13. And it's that round table. All of the heroines are coming together to meet and to form a league to try to figure out, like, how are we going to protect the city from supervillains? Everyone goes around and introduces themselves. And then after a while, it gets Freya and Poderosa start arguing because Freya is a Republican and Poderosa is more of a Democrat, and they both have different ideas about how they should run the league. And they both have, both of their ideas have something that's not so good about it, but also it does also have merit at the same time. And I remember, just being in that episode, I thought, I'm just so happy to see something like this, to be like, you don't have to 100% agree with Freya to like her as a character. You don't have to 100% agree with Poderosa as a character. And then the episode ends those disagreements are still there, but it's just presented as these are just how these people are, and they have to try to figure out how to navigate their differences, but still work together to meet their common end. And I guess that's just kind of how I feel too. I'm wanting more people to try to come together as much as they can.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Something about the way that you were discussing that just brought into view, the media really has sort of kind of left us, we can't get serious for a minute, the media really has sort of kind of left us behind, because our role used to be, we were presented with facts, and then we all got to be the jury, we got to make the decisions based on facts and make our own conclusions. And we weren't a part of it, outside of that. It was just we got to know what was going on in the world and come to our own conclusions and go about our existence. Things have really seemed to change in that way. Where like now everybody's so involved, where they do feel like every single thing, just as if like one person saying one thing has changed the entire scape of how the world is going to work immediately. Like they forget that there are processes. There's so much more that goes into it. And so they just make up their minds quickly. They don't do the work to like actually have conversations to fact check and everything else that goes into it. We just enjoy the fact that like we're involved in the conversation, with these people who are on television, and they're telling their story, and it's like you're either on that camp or you're on that camp, and like these banks no longer meet, even though like we sing the same song and have the same flag and everything, and God forbid. It's a weird state.
Yeah,
It's a weird situation.
I think it kind of has to do with us just being more reactive in general. Because I mean,
accountable.
And there's some
Accountability
times where
accountability is it.
there's been times where like a big story's come out, and I remember I've reacted in a certain way. Because I mean, it happens to everybody.
Well, sure,
and
that's
then,
part of growing up.
and then later on, I kind of thought, and I was like, I really should have looked into that story more before I really had a strong about it and stuff.
But has that changed your behavior since?
Yes.
Growth. Ladies and gentlemen, growth. The hero has grown.
Amazing. I couldn't agree more with what both of you guys are saying. And the one thing I'd like to add is that we've become a culture. And I think social media is a big contributor in this, where we don't look at people as individuals anymore. That's why the conversations break down so quickly. We don't look at people as individuals, as human beings. We look at them as a sum of their beliefs, or a sum of simply their beliefs that we've been exposed to. We don't even necessarily know everything that they believe or everything they think. We hear one belief that triggers us, and oh my God, that person's dead to us now, and it's crazy.
That's wild, absolutely wild. And then it's really funny when you see like these really creative people on this one side who are like enmeshed in like things that you would agree with for the most part and want to be a part of, but they're so far into like whatever that headspace is that they've gone into like I'm open-minded.
Yes. Well, that was something I realized. I realized a little bit, actually, from my dad, because my dad is a very, he has a certain way of thinking that you would conflate with open-minded, but he's a wonderful, very, very intelligent person, but could be, I think he's gotten better as he's gotten older, but could be closed-minded about certain things sometimes. And even more so when I got into college, where you're like, just because you people think that you believe in change and you think that what you're doing is progress, that doesn't make you open-minded. Being staunchly in favor of change does not mean you're open-minded. You can still be equally as closed-minded. And that was my experience in college as well. Was it's just like you're saying, was I agree with all the things that you want. I just don't agree at all with how you're going about doing them. So
yeah, exactly.
Very confusing time. We do have a couple of super chats that I'd like to read out. We got John Doe Eyes, who's quickly becoming the MVP of the live stream here, of the chat anyway, with his gajillions of $9.99 super chats. He says, I respect and appreciate Villainouses. I'll drink to that for sure.
I respect and appreciate you, though. I mean, I'll probably do terrible things to you, but
yeah. And Flaming TP sends a $2 super chat, says, drinking money for my favorite alt-right SJW. Thank you, Flaming TP.
Cheers.
I think we got a couple more right here. So we're going to start a club. I'll make sure.
Tequila. This would be a problem. Oh, I'd be excited to do that. Wouldn't be my best face.
I don't know what your relationships are like with tequila, but personally, I don't have that issue where it's like, I drank tequila and the whole night went sideways. But what I will have, it's always the sneaky tequila shot. Like if I have like 5 tequila shots, even if I'm drinking 5,000 different drinks, I'm fine. It's always the night where like I had a moderate amount to drink, not too much, but like a lot, and threw 1 tequila shot in there, and then it's a bad morning. That's how it happens.
Oh, I getcha. No, my relationship with tequila, like it turns into drunk history, like an immediate episode of drunk history. That's exactly where tequila takes me. Like, I hope it's entertaining for other people. Is what
well, I do drunk Bible stories on my channel. I specifically stick to Old Testament, to the Torah, because Judaism. We do a few of those. The recent one ended up being, or the last one I put out ended up being like half a freaking hour because it was, my friend was like, all right, you're going to make, it was because it was somebody that specifically asked for this. They were like, do a drunk Bible story for Purim while making Hamantaschen. And so I did. And Hamantaschen, there's square cookies with filling for anyone who doesn't know. And it turns out when you're hammered and trying to tell a story while also trying to bake, it takes a long time to get the words out. But that was a fun one. I'll do drunk fast.
That's my personal experience, not from filming.
Yeah.
Drink and cook. It's one of the best experiences ever. Like drinking and cooking, like those are beautiful things to go together. Like play some music, have some wine, have some whatever it is that you like, and like build a recipe that you're a fan of, get dancing and everything like that. It's a great night at home.
Oh yeah, I remember the one New Year's Eve. I was with this one boyfriend, and I went out drinking with his sister and his brother and him, and but it was like all within walking distance. And we came back, and like me and his sister just made a whole giant pot of like Kraft macaroni and cheese, and we ate the whole thing. Because when I get drunk, the thing that I want is like covered in cheese or like something salty, like fries.
I feel that. Well, you get all that sugar. I think you like naturally want to like counteract it from like all the alcohol. Yeah. Like full of sugar,
also,
like you want to counteract salt. Just seems like a really great.
Also, a fun fact: so because alcohol dehydrates you. You need salt to rehydrate because it has the electrolytes in it. So when you're dehydrated, you crave salt as well. I'm with you, Bridget. I'm like, I want quesadillas. I want like, I want grilled cheese, mozzarella, whatever it is. I want melty, gooey cheese or mac and cheese. That's what I want when I get drunk. Oof.
Bites.
God, that's one of the greatest things. Is just eating cheese.
It really is. Cheese is great. I love cheese.
Cheese is world peace unless you have digestive issues.
Even if I had digestive issues, I would find a way.
It's a beautiful thing.
Find a way.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I would just die, yeah.
And this is why I could never be vegan.
Oh my God, if someone told me, they're like, Jesse, you can never eat cheese again because if you do, you'll die. I'll be like, well, let me pick which cheese I'm going to die with.
Yeah, and it won't be vegan cheese because vegan, like seriously, have you ever like it's just like cheese? It's weird.
Oh,
it's weird.
So
have problems. I mean, I appreciate the effort. I really do, but like,
I will say. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not going to name the person who made it because I hope they're not watching this part because I'm going to feel bad. But somebody made homemade mac and cheese on a vacation that I went to once, and I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm thinking vegan mac and cheese, not still in my mind, not at that time, not totally understanding what vegan meant. And then I tried the mac and cheese, and I just remember like every bite I ate, I thought like, it's got to get better.
It never does.
No,
it never does.
And I just remember thinking, and I didn't want to be terrible. I didn't want to be rude, so I ate like what was left on my plate, and all I could think was like, this tastes like sad. I'm getting sadder as I eat it, and I just ate like a whole bunch more of whatever else was on my plate, and I couldn't stop thinking about the whole like vacation. I can't believe how just that was so not what I wanted. It was so far removed.
Been betrayed.
It was I mean I actually do like vegan burgers like
there are vegan options that are amazing.
Yeah,
like a lot of vegan food is good when it comes to cheese.
Yeah, like spicy like chickpea burgers are awesome.
They are.
The mac and cheese just oh my God, it was not.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just that particular recipe.
Pittsburghers, and if you come to Pittsburgh, and speaking about Pittsburgh food, if you ever go to a place called Piper's Pub in Southside, Pittsburgh Southside, that is a place to get some good eats. And like they have like, because you wouldn't think it, they have, okay, for one, they have like the best Scotch menu. No, man. I'm just saying.
You're down with
like if you're into that flavor, it's a great place to try. And but like they just recently started, like in the past couple of years, they paid attention to what's going on, so they like increased their menu. They have this like vegan shepherd's pie, right? right? You wouldn't even think about that. Like, why would you even think that would be a thing? You wouldn't think that'd be a thing, but they figured out how to do like a vegan shepherd's pie that's not like there's mock meat in it. That's not a thing. No mock meat. It's just vegan shepherd's pie, and it's one of the greatest things that will ever happen to your existence. And there's no vegan cheese in it whatsoever.
I did enjoy the vegan nuggets in my school's dining hall, but that's one thing I will say about Los Angeles is if you're gonna get vegan food that's good, this is the place for it. There's a place called Doomy's Home Cookin' where I've gotten their burgers and they put the cashew cheese on it, and there's something about the cashew cheese when they do it really, really well in LA. Like people who really know what they're doing, they actually get it melt correctly. And so we had the vegan cheese. I ate a bacon cheeseburger that was 100% vegan. And if you had told me it was a real bacon cheeseburger, I would have believed you. That's how legit this was. It was, and that's a lot coming from me. Anyone will tell you. My parents will tell you. They're like, Jesse is not a proponent of vegetarian options or vegan options, not at all. But there's a place or two in LA where I'm like, I can fuck with this. I can totally fuck with it.
Well, duly noted. And whenever we're in LA,
I really like to take people down to Doomy's because it's a fun one to be, especially if I do have friends who are vegetarian. It's just a fun place to be like, look at this. It's vegan food that doesn't suck. What a
your selling point right there.
It was really good. There's this one restaurant. Oh, I forget what it's called. There's this really good vegan restaurant that I went to once in New York, and I had a sweet potato with like curried lentils on the top, and I had a bunch of other stuff. I don't remember what it all was, but it was delicious. It was really, really good. That was awesome.
That sounds good. I realized I accidentally made a vegan dish. I've actually invented a vegan dish. It's actually delicious. I didn't even realize it. It's gluten free too, of all things. I just realized it because I had a friend coming to visit me once who was vegan and gluten free, and I was like, God damn it, what am I going to make for her? And then I remembered this. I was like, oh shit, this one. It's glass noodles. So they're bean thread noodles. They're made with beans, which I love. I love bean thread noodles. They're like really super clear, and you just soak them basically in hot water and turn into noodles. I love those. I just do that. I stir fry a bunch of veggies. I throw some tofu, and you can put meat. I have put meat in because I love meat. And then I just use coconut milk or coconut cream with curry powder. Add some spices to it. And it's just delicious like Thai curry. It's amazing. I'm like, oh shit, this is vegan. What? Okay. Just by accident. So there you go. But most of my dishes are like, let me put meat. Let me meat.
Are at Mexican restaurants lately. I fall into like this pattern where it's like, is there going to be guacamole? I don't care.
Okay.
Well, I mean, LA is a place for that, and there's a lot of taco places in LA that do vegan chorizo and stuff like that. I personally stay away from that. I'm like, nah, give me that al pastor. I'm fucking with that al pastor.
Dude, that used to be my favorite. Tacos al pastor. That used to be my favorite, but I can't do pork. No pork, no shellfish for me anymore. I'm observing certain habits, but like, oh my goodness, the chorizo. Oh my goodness. Like
well, you can come to this place and get the vegan chorizo. So
well, you know, at Trader, my brother gave me some. He found at Trader Joe's they have soy chorizo. Like he likes to call it soy chorizo, but it's soy chorizo, and you just you get it and then you just cook it, on skillet and stuff, and like it tastes like if I wouldn't have known it wasn't real chorizo, I wouldn't have known. The only thing is when you're cooking it, it is a little different because it's not gonna brown like meat is. But I tried it. I was like, oh my god, I would totally get this again. This is amazing, and it really wasn't bad.
We have some support for soy rizo in the chat. We also have someone who said they wrote soy rizo ain't bad. There you go. Someone also said vegan food isn't bad when you put bacon in it.
Well, that is a fair and accurate statement. Bacon does make things better. That's how it gets around.
Starkey Player says, who are the guest superheroines? We have Arctica, who's a superhero, and Scintilla, super villainous from the show Heroineburg. It's a Pittsburgh-based web series featuring many awesome superheroes and super villainesses. I've reviewed it on my channel, so you can check out that review. And these wonderful human beings have agreed to come on. And we've been at it for over 2 hours now. So I know it's getting late for you guys. So whenever you need us to wrap up, let me know. You've been so awesome coming on here, and it's been wonderful to have you. But I'm happy to keep going. Also, just whenever you're like bedtime, you just head.
Well, I guess we are in Pittsburgh, and it is 11:10, and we are in somebody else's house.
That's
so we
true.
should probably be hospitable.
Probably,
Let us go
There's
to
a little
bed
bit,
at some point.
or at least have some evening time. I mean,
just bring them some vegan cheese. It'll be fine.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Our pleasure. We very much enjoy.
Oh yeah,
being
it
here.
is really fun being on here.
It was an absolute delight. I would love to have you guys back anytime. If you want to, any of your other fellow co-stars, etc. Flaming TV says it's late. It's not even 2 a.m. All right, not everyone lives on the internet. Okay, some of these people have day jobs. They might have to get up in the morning. Also, once again, they're in someone's house to be places in the morning. I have a feeling that we could hang all night and continue drinking.
Yeah, right.
It is only Wednesday, so. All right. So, any last thoughts? Any last things you guys want to share with the world before we call it?
But I'm sorry, what? What was the question?
Are there any final thoughts you guys want to share with the world?
Watch Heroine Berg.
Watch Heroine Berg and be careful of vegan cheese.
Yes.
Sorry. Heroine Berg, be careful of vegan cheese.
Yeah. Seriously, if you can improve upon vegan cheese, we would like to know you. And then there's fan service. We'll give you all the fan service. We'll talk about
you can make a really good vegan mac and cheese.
Seriously, help save Arctica's memory of vegan mac and cheese. And then I think we've got a winner. I think that I don't know what they've won other than our respect forever. But I mean, you'll have our respect forever, and that's great. Mm-hmm. That's worth something.
Yeah,
that's worth eternal respect. It's like unconditional love. You don't come upon that every day.
Yeah, and if you guys are in Pittsburgh in April, well, it is April now. April 12th through the 14th, Heroine Berg is going to be at Steel City Con, and a bunch of us heroines and villainesses are going to be at our booth, so you can come over, say hi to us, take pictures. We'll have merchandise, and then Heroine Berg is also going to be at the Three Rivers Con in May, May 11th and 12th.
So mid-month both times, April and May. We'll be in places you can find us and shake hands and get to know about the process and everything else that goes into it firsthand. See all the good things. Yeah.
So any of you mid-Atlantic, maybe Midwestern people should just pop over to Pittsburgh next weekend or the following month. Check these guys out live in the flesh, in costume, I assume.
Yes, absolutely, of course. Yes. Full character and everything, voices, all the fun stuff. It's great for the kids.
And if you haven't watched Heroine Berg, Heroineburgh'S.com. We've had that popping up and going in the chat all night long, but it's very simple. Heroineburgh'S.com. Heroine is in the female version of a hero, and Berg as in the end of Pittsburgh. So simple. And and that'll do it for us. So thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks for being here.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, wow.
In stereo.